Hey everyone, Rajat here. So on this channel we have seen how to create an Express application and how to deal with MongoDB database. Now is the right time to learn how to connect the two systems in order to create an API where a user can persist his or her data. So in today's video we are going to learn about Mongoose ODM, which is a data object modeler which helps us in interacting with MongoDB. Apart from helping us to connect with the MongoDB database, this Mongoose ODM also helps us in creating a schema which is consistent so that we do not just feed anything random to the database. We can simply create a structure for our collection. So basically in MongoDB you can feed anything you want to because it's a NoSQL system, but using Mongoose you can create schemas, and using schemas you can enforce a proper data model to the MongoDB database, and we are going to see all of that. Before we do that, I would like to shamelessly plug my other channel which I have created recently. It is all about what we are doing over here in English. We are going to do it in Hindi. The channel name is Codelet Hindi. So in order to show your support and your love to the Codelet brand, please also go ahead and subscribe to Codelet's Hindi channel in case you want to learn programming in Hindi. So whatever we are going to cover on Codelet's English channel, most probably the similar sort of content is also going to be uploaded on Codelet Hindi channel, but it is going to be in Hindi. So in case you want to learn programming in Hindi, make sure you give this channel a subscribe. And let's get back to business. So in order to use this Mongoose system, we first have to have an Express API. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create an Express API, and we are not going to dive into the details of building an Express API because I have covered that in detail on my earlier videos. So here is a link to that particular playlist where you can go ahead and learn all the details about creating an Express API. And also I have taught you how to create a MongoDB database using MongoDB Atlas, which is an hosted instance of MongoDB. So I will also not be covering that. So we will simply cover the basics of Mongoose ODM in order to persist your data from the Express application onto MongoDB database. In order to learn Express and MongoDB, please watch the respective videos. The links are in the video description. So let's quickly create an Express application. So I will open up my terminal, and over here I will simply go to a folder first of all, and I will create an application. So this is the temporary folder on which I create all the applications. So I am simply going to create a Mongoose app over here, and I will switch to it, and on top of that I will simply run npm init y. So this will create a package for me, and now I have to install Express, npm I express and Mongoose. So these are the two packages I need. Once I have this thing installed, I will simply open this directory in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so we have a bare bones application. So quickly create an Express server app.js. Over here we are going to do constant express, and then we will require it, and we are going to create our application using the Express function call. And now we can configure the endpoint. So let's suppose we have an endpoint called post, and then the endpoint is users, or simply call it user. And then from this endpoint a user can create a user on the MongoDB database. So what we are going to do over here is that we are going to create a handler, and then we are going to use the arrow notation, and then on top of that, or let's not use the arrow notation because that's not something what I have taught. So let's use a normal function rack and res, and this is going to be our handler. And then what we can do, we can get the data from request body. So we will do something like data rack.body, and for that we have to use the body parser middleware as well. So let's quickly see how to use body parser. Okay, so let's not go to this link but this link, Express body parser, and in order to use it we have to first install it. So I will quickly open up the terminal. I will do npm I body parser, because not body parse but body parser. Okay, it is installed, and then I can do this. I can simply copy this thing and paste it over here, and switch this var with a const keyword. And then what I can do app.use, something like that. Okay, so app.use body parser.json. So this will help Express in parsing the JSON body that come attached with a post request. Okay, so this way I can get the data. So let's quickly test this thing out. So I will simply print out the data and I will create or listen the incoming request on port number 8000. For now, let's not make it configurable. You can simply hard code it because that's not the motto of this particular tutorial. And in order to start this application, we can go to package.json and we can first of all install npm i and then -d in order to install it as a dev dependency nodemon. So this is a really nifty piece of software which helps you in monitoring the files and then reloading the server whenever there is a file change. So I will do node, or I can do something like dev, and over here I can do nodemon and then index.js. Okay, so npm run dev now. So it says that it cannot find module mongoose app index.js. So our application's name is app.js. Let's quickly rename it to index.js so as to stick to the conventions, and it says that it has reloaded our server. Let's quickly test our server. So open up the new console and do curl-x and then post in order to send a post request to this route http localhost 8000, because our application is listening on the 8000 port and it says cannot post on this route because our endpoint is this /user. So do /user and then it does not return anything. It prints that I have submitted this blank object, which means I have submitted nothing in the body, but the body parser is working correctly. So now what I can do over here is that first of all I will simply do something like a return or something like response dot send and then okay. So basically I'm just trying to end the request properly here. So by doing response dot send you can end the request, and let's test it again, curl-x-user. So it says okay, which means the server is working correctly and it ends the request properly. And then let's try to submit some data as well. So in order to post the data using the curl command, you have to do -d, and in this thing you can post your data. So in order to post that data, you have to write JSON over here inside these two quotes. So what you can do something like this, single quotes, and then inside this double quote you can do the JSON thing. So name is going to be Rajat. So this is JSON. What you can do is that you can open up something like JSON lint and write your JSON over here. So I will simply write my JSON which I want to submit and I will validate it. It's a valid JSON, and I can simply copy it, paste it over here so as to get the output in one line, and then I can simply okay, this is very troublesome. It is not letting me copy this thing. So what I can do, I can simply copy it over here and I will press enter. It says okay, and then let's see what data it submitted. It was not actually able to parse anything from body. So in order to make it work, we also have to put a header that the content type is JSON. So for putting a header, you have to do something like -h and then content type application JSON, and then it will say okay. And let's see if we have gotten the data now. So now our data has been passed by body parser correctly, because we need this content header to be there in order to tell the server that our post body contains a JSON data. So our Express server is all set. Now we need to plug in MongoDB into this application, and then we will be able to persist the data using this endpoint. So let's do one thing. First of all, we have to create a db.js file, and this is going to be our file which will be helping us in getting a connection to the MongoDB database. So let's quickly write this file. So you can open up mongoose.js.com in order to get all the necessary instructions in order to acquiring connection to a MongoDB database. So first of all, let's do constant mongoose. So instructions are right here. So you will first of all require mongoose. Then in order to obtain the connection to the MongoDB database, what you have to do something like mongoose.connect and then your connection string. So we can take this connection string from the environment variable. So we can say something like db string, okay, and this will do. So it is as simple as that. And what we have to do with this file is that we can simply call it after our application. So we will plug it over here, require and then db. Just by requiring this file, we will trigger this code, and this code is trying to connect to the database. As of now, we have not provided or injected this db string environment variable, but if this db string environment variable is defined, then this mongoose thing will try to connect to our database. Now we need to define this db string thing. In order to define it, we first have to obtain this thing. So we will go back to our MongoDB Atlas screen. I have demonstrated how to configure a MongoDB Atlas instance for yourself in my MongoDB video. So please go back and watch that video in case you haven't watched it and you do not know how to create a MongoDB Atlas cluster for free. And once you have the cluster available with you, you have to come to this database deployments tab, click on this connect button. So this is your landing screen actually, okay, and on this page you will get to see connect your application. So click on this thing and copy this string, go to your package JSON. Over here before nodemon you can do something like db string and then copy this string. So what we are doing over here is that when we write something like this in Linux, this variable gets created on the environment and then this value is assigned to that variable. So when you invoke this statement, this environment variable will be created for that particular statement, okay. So this statement will see that this particular environment variable is defined for that particular session, so it will find it, okay. Now over here you will see that you need a username and a password. So I have created a password for myself. I remember that password, so I am simply going to plug it in. So the password for this case is admin123. Just do not try to connect to this instance because it is not going to work. I am simply going to delete this instance right after recording this session. So please create your own, and then I can restart the application. npm run dev. Now it is throwing some error. It says the URI parameter must be a whatever. So it is basically telling me that this particular db string which is being used over here is not defined. It is blank. So I have plugged it in over here. So basically it should find it. And let's see, npm run dev. Again it is complaining the same, got undefined. Why is it undefined? Try to remove this thing. We simply do not need it. Let's try this thing now. Okay, now it is working. It turns out that there was something complex going on when we were using this sort of syntax. So basically bash was doing something with it, and so it was not able to inject it properly. Simply drop this thing from the connection string and your program will still work. Okay, let me revert this thing and let's get rid of this thing, delete in this. Okay, so now our program is working correctly. It is able to find the db string environment variable. So let's see if we have a connection. Now in order to check whether we have acquired the connection properly or not, we can write some extra code, something like this thing is a promise, so we can await it. But in order to await it, we have to wrap it inside an IIFE, which is an immediately invoked function expression, which is going to be something like this, parenthesis, and then you are going to define an async function over here, async function, and let's call it connect to database. Okay, and then define the body over here and then simply call it. So this is an IIFE, it is async. We have used the async keyword because this mongoose connect returns a promise which we want to trap. So what we are going to do over here is that we are going to start a try catch block and simply we will await it. And if this thing, this connect statement throws an error, it means that the database connection was not successful, which we are trying to see over here, and we will catch it. If we get an error, we can simply print the error. If this connection succeeds, we can print to the console that connected to the database, and that is it. So using this code, we can connect to the database. It says connected to the database. Let's try to create some error manually. So what we can do over here is that we can simply change the password, and using that it will throw an error, because if the password does not work, the MongoDB Atlas will not let us connect to that instance. Okay, and let's see. So in order to reflect the changes, when you change something in the packet.json file, especially the environment variable, you have to restart the application. And now you can see that we have gotten some error which is called authentication failed, right? So this is clearly telling us that our application was not able to connect. So this way you can do some error handling as well and ensure that your database is getting corrected properly. So let me revert back again. Since I have made some changes to this file, I will simply restart the server. Okay, node cannot do it for you, and again it is throwing some error, password cannot be empty. Okay, so basically I deleted the entire password thing, so I will simply do it now and restart the application again. Okay, so the database is connected. So our application is booting correctly and it is connecting to the database correctly. Now we can write a schema so that we can save some data to MongoDB. So let's first of all try to understand what a schema is. So basically, let's suppose you want to save some data to some collection. So a collection can contain any sort of data, since MongoDB is a NoSQL database, right? But we want to enforce that this particular collection called person should only have certain properties which I am going to define. It should have a name property, it should have an age property, and that is it. It should not have any random XYZ property. On top of that, I will also define that the name property is going to be the string and the age property is going to be of number value. So this sort of constraints I can define using schemas, and Mongo's ODM allow us in creating these schemas. So let's quickly create our schema. For that, we are first of all going to create a folder called models, because then it will look good. I haven't created a folder but a file. So create a folder first of all. Click on this button and write models. Then in this file you can write your model. In order to represent the model, we can create a file called person.js. Okay, now we can create our schema. In order to create our schema, we have to write some again Mongoose specific instructions. So let's see how we can create our schema. So in order to define the schema, we first have to require Mongoose, and then on top of that we can write some schema like person schema and then new Mongoose and then schema. This is the notation. This will create a Mongoose schema for us. Now inside these curly braces, we are going to write our column information. So our column is going to be name. The type is going to be string. So Mongoose have some inbuilt types, and these are like string, boolean. So basically you have to use the instances from Mongoose, and this is the notation. It has a string class, it has a boolean class, it has an object ID class. So we know that MongoDB, whenever we insert an object or a record inside MongoDB, it creates an underscore ID field, right? We know that. So this ID field is of type object ID. Okay, and in order to get this object ID, you have to use mongosdb.types.object ID. Okay, so it is of that type. So we have this ID field. MongoDB is going to create it anyway, so we have defined it. We can simply skip it as well. We can have this name property, and then we have certain other parameters, like if you want to make it a required column, in case you want to create a person inside MongoDB, you have to provide this name thing. If you want to enforce that sort of a thing, we can use this required thing, and then it can have the value true in that particular case. Then we should have age, and the type is going to be again number. So it uses these classes, these object classes in JavaScript, not the primitive data types. It uses number and string an boolean, which is also denoted by this thing, right? But now we do not want to make age a mandatory column, so we have simply defined the type, and that is it. So this way we can define a schema, and then we can export this schema. Then we can create a model using this schema, using this command constant person mongoose dot model, and it is written over here. So first of all we have to provide a name, which is person. In this case, this is going to be the name of our collection. So basically what mongoose is going to do is that it will create a collection called persons. So it will create a plural form of this particular word, and it will create it in all small letters, okay? And then we will plug in the schema. So this thing is the model actually. So in order to follow the convention, we are going to call it as person with a capital P, and then we can export this thing. Export default person, or you can simply do something like export default and then this thing. This will also work. So we have our person model ready. Now we can use this person model in order to save some data. So let's first of all go to our cluster and see our collections. As of now we do not have any collection. Let's get back to index.js, and over here we are fetching some data from the user, and now we want to save this data to the MongoDB model called person. The data is coming inside request.body, and we have extracted that thing. So what we can do now is that if data.name is not there or data.age is not defined, in that particular case we want to response.send did not save it as the payload contained error. So basically we are trying to return an error response, okay? And we can also set the status. The status can be 400, which means bad request. So this way we can send a proper response which sticks to API designing fundamentals. And then if the data is there, if the name property is there and the age property is there, then we want to save it. So in order to save this thing, we can first of all create an instance of this model and then save it. So to do that, we write something like P, or let's call it person, and let's require person. So person, so let's not write this default thing. This is ECMAScript notation. Let's not do it. Let's stick to CommonJS. So the statement is going to be module.exports and this. So this is going to be the way to export something from CommonJS file, okay? So let's use that thing. So remove this thing from here and remove this statement as well. So constant P and person. Now you can require this model, and then you can do something like person.create and then plug in your data. So now you are getting to see that it accepts name and age. Age is optional and name is required. So you can write name, and then you can plug in the name from data, and then again you can plug in the age from data. So this way you can save this thing. So again, this create thing is a promise. So you can use async await or promise notation in order to see whether your write was successful or not. So I'm going to use the async await notation because that's what we have used elsewhere. So I will convert this function into an async function so that I can use an await over here, and then I can return response.send, and then okay, I can send this response. And basically I do not need this P thing. In case I want to, I can do that. Let's try to also print what P contains. P, okay, P will basically contain an instance of whatever it has saved to the database. So it will be an instance of this person class, and it will contain two properties, name and age. Let's quickly see. So the application has been restarted a couple of times, and let's get back to our terminal. It's not over here, but it's in this tab, and let's try to save the data again. It returns an error which is working correctly since it does not have the age property. So let's quickly submit the age property as well. So inside this thing we can write something like comma, and then again the escape notation, the double quote, age, again the escaped quotation mark, and then age can be 33, and then it says that it failed, connection refused. So basically our server has crashed. User is not allowed to do action. Insert on test.people. Okay, so basically there is some permission error. Let's go back to our database access tab and edit this mongoose user. So basically there is some problem with this user. So you can go over here, add a built-in role, and then select read and write to any database. Okay, so this is the thing we need, because we need write permissions. Update the user, and then let's get back and let's see if our application works now. So since this thing is crashing, restart the application, go back to your curl terminal where you are running curl, and then issue it, and it says okay. So let's see if something is saved on our database or not. So if we go to the database tab and then browse collections, we will see that a people collection has been created for us inside this test database, and we can see that our object has been saved to the database. So the name is Rajat and the age is 33, as we have sent to the server. So this way we can save data, and we have enforced a particular schema to the collection as well. So this way we can save data to the database, that is MongoDB, using Mongoose. So let's also try to retrieve the data. So we will create an endpoint called get, and then users, and again it is going to be an async function because we are going to perform a long running request. So here we will simply get the data constant persons, and then we will do await person and then find, and we will not issue anything here, which means that find everything that is matching. So by default it will match everything, and then we will simply return a rest.send persons, and we want it to be a JSON response, so we will do response.json instead of response.send. So let's see. So again get back to your curl terminal and do curl, and then simply your application's endpoint, because this is a get request, it does not require anything fancy, and it says it cannot get. So basically the endpoint name is users, so we will do users instead of user, and we have gotten our data back. As of now it has included some other fields like _id and --v. We do not want to show that, so for that we can simply skip these records by doing something like map, and then person, it will only contain two property, person.map name and person.age, and that is it. Let's run this command again, and now it has returned an array, and that array contains only one row. In case we send more data to this server, let's send one more record. So let's do age is 32 and the name is John. So let's create one more record. So we have gotten the response of okay, which means the data has been persisted, and let's try to get the data back. And now it says that it has two entries in the record, and the first one is Rajat and the other one is John. So this way you can send data to MongoDB and enforce a schema, and then you can also get the data back from MongoDB using Mongoose. In case you have any doubt related to what we have learned in this today's session, make sure you leave a comment on this video, or you can come into my Discord channel where you can ask your specific doubts, because there I can also show you code and all. You can also share your code in order to show me exactly where you are stuck, and I can help you out. So make sure you ask your questions in the relevant forum, which is the comment section or my Discord group, and you give this video a like and subscribe to this Codelet channel in case you haven't already, so that you get to see my videos whenever I publish one. That is it for today guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care.